Okay, so typically how I would review a game like this is I would go into the lane phase, look at what you did wrong. In this case, there was there were a lot of wave management issues and um, mistakes that I felt you made with trades. Um, but that's, you know, it's obvious to me that at your elo, with the other VODs that like I've watched from you and I've seen you play, you don't typically have a problem generating leads, right? So I think the better way to review this game would be from the lens of translating your lead. Because if we look here, you're 7 and 0. If we look in terms of gold, you're like 2.5k ahead of this guy. Um, you're like 1.2k ahead of this guy. Like you're really fed, right? So this isn't really a question of like generating a bigger lead because if you can't carry as 7 and 0 Irelia, then like you know, we have other issues other than generating leads. You're not going to be getting like you shouldn't be getting more fed than 7-0 at 14 minutes anyway, you know? So it's really a question of how do you carry this game? Now, in a game like this, the main thing to understand is that when I look at this comp, it's just really annoying. Okay? I'm gonna get like kited, I'm gonna get spaced. They have Rylai's on Brand, they have Rylai's on this guy. They have um, they have the Fiora which can kite you, and they have Vigar Cage. So we need to be fed this game in order to really or we don't need to be fed to win, but to make the game is to make the game or to play the game how we want to play, we have to be able to like do a lot of damage and tank their damage, right? So let's look from here because this is really where, converting your lead is going to come from, right? So we come back to lane here, we push this, this is good. Uh, get a flash here, that's good. Nice. I think hitting this tower is not the best. Um, I mean, I don't think it's the worst either, but it's not our tower to take, but that doesn't really matter too much. We come back here. The So one problem that we've had right now is that we've had to reset twice pretty quickly, which typically slows down your gold generation a lot. But the main thing I want to talk about so far is this fight here, because this is a good fight, but this is a fight where the game is won or lost, because off of this fight, um, either you just get like further ahead, you snowball a lot, you break open mid tower, you can get into the side lane, you push through side lane, you're gonna get a lot of farm, a lot of obviously just the gold from the kills, and you'll secure rift. So this is where the game is won or lost, right? Now this is the primary mistake in this fight. We use our second Q. Now this is something that it seems like you have a problem with this specifically because I mean we've talked about this a lot, right? And it doesn't matter that you keep doing it. Um, it just sometimes we all have like those simple issues that we are just really ingrained in our brains and we have to like work them out eventually. So it'll just come with time, but you really have to get a feeling of when you want to double queue. So as an example of where you want to double queue, for example, in the Xerath game, um, when I told you it was actually a good situation to double queue, is when you queued onto Xerath kind of under tower, and then you auto him. And now in that case, I would double queue because you don't want to extend the trade, right? You just want to like go under their tower, proc your Bork, and with your second queue, you'll be on the other side of the tower, so you can just run out, right? That's a pretty classic Irelia combo. In this case, we want to continue hitting Sivir for as long as possible. So we want to be able to follow her wherever she either if she flashes or if she just runs away with R. We want to be able to make sure we're following her, right? Which is why in this case, this double Q is really bad because now she just flashes away. whereas we want to be able to stick on her for as long as possible, right? If we don't double Q here, we can just keep auto attacking her. If she flashes up here, you Q on her. If she flashes over here, you Q on her. No matter what she does, she's dead. But now because we double Q, we give her the opportunity to get away. And now after this death, now we're really screwed because we're I mean, it's not like you can't carry this game, but every death, every moment that you're not farming, you're not getting kills, any moment that the enemy team is getting relatively stronger relative to you, the game's going to get harder, right? So we go into the side lane. This is good. We don't have ult, so we can't really contest this Drake. And looks like Shaco is trading it off anyway. So we have to be careful here because we're weak side. I don't like this reset. I think, you have your item here, but the problem here is that we just came out of base, right? So if we look at what we've done for the past 2 minutes, it's really important to look at this. Look how much time we've spent either basing or in base. So here we take a lot of damage, we get chunked, um, and we base. And actually, no. Here we just came off a base, right? So all the way back here, we had just come out of base. So we reset with a lot of gold. So this reset was good. We come back, we get a flash, we reset, we teleport back, we die, we come out of base and go bot lane, and then we reset again. Look how much time we've spent in base, right? So I think this is something that I see very commonly for you. You just like your base timings in mid game are pretty sloppy, where you're basing way too much and you're not spending enough time on the map. I'm not saying this base is okay because you get your item and you can't really do much on the map, but I think, in general, you really need to look at your other bases because you spend a lot of time in base. Where in mid game, we want to spend as much time out on the map as possible getting gold, generating income. Here, I don't mind you rotating mid because it's pretty free kill, but this is pretty ridiculous that we have to use R for him. Like, this should be a very easy kill. So here, what I think you should do is just QQQ onto these minions and then Q on him. And then E and keep autoing him down. The other thing that you can do is just go for an E, but like it's not really guaranteed since he's kind of like moving around like this. So you went for the E here, it didn't really work out. The fact that we have to R is not that great because we really need our R to win a fight, especially in a game like this where they can kite us so easily. And look, we end up basing again, you know? So I think we should just take this wave and, you know, I don't, you're, the enemy team, at least take this wave because we've now had so many bases. Like, look, we based on 700 gold, we based again on 700 gold, and now we're basing on 600 gold, right? So these are just really inefficient bases, and you're not really able to get into this rhythm of, like pushing out bot, catching people on mid lane. So this is good. Perfect. We push outside. Don't go for this wave. And you base again. Okay, see, this is just ridiculous now, right? We're basing again on 900 gold. What can we get for this? Another longsword. So we just based for a longsword, right? Where here we can probably just like rotate mid. We have our ult. We can look for something here. We can, I'd much rather you just waste a minute hovering here than resetting. Because at least by hovering mid, you're not getting economy, but you're getting the potential of finding a pick, right? So, yeah, and pretty clean, fa yeah, very clean fast combo. Again, this needs to be pointed out. Look, you're queuing on her when she's just right there. Unless unless there's a precise reason why you need to queue on someone, if they're in auto attack range, just keep autoing them. Unless you're like trying to queue to dodge an ability, or they don't have flash, there's no way they can escape, and you just need to kill them quickly. Whatever it is, um, you should have a reason if you're queuing, because this is the second kill this game that we've missed like that, and I see you miss these kills all the time. Okay, and yeah, we try our best there, but yeah, we can't do much there. So yeah, I mean, what this game really came down to was um, one, as a big picture, the reason why you didn't win this game was you weren't being efficient in generating resources. So you ended up falling behind the curve a lot. So if we look here, this is actually really interesting to see. Look, so we started out being 1.2k ahead of Sivir, but now we're um, like 1k behind Sivir, right? And this is just because you're not generating resources efficiently. And the reason for that is the deaths, and just like not even the death, just like how much time you spend in base. You did like 4 or 5 below 1k gold bases this game. That in the span of like 10 minutes. Like if we actually look at this, just out of interest to see like how long you spend in base. Um, where was it? This is all good. Yeah, so you base here at 14, pretty much 15 minutes. You come to base. So this is our second base in a minute. So we spent a minute and 30 seconds on the map here. We spent like 20, 30 seconds on the map here. We spent like 50 seconds on the map here. We spent like a minute on the map there. So, and then I believe that you even reset here. So we've reset like 5 times now in the space of 5 minutes, spending about like 3 minutes, 4 minutes on the map. You know, like 3 minutes. We've spent like 3 minutes on the map in 5 minutes, and we've based 5 times or 6 times, I think even. So this is a massive problem for you, and this is something that I've actually a big trend that I've noticed in the past. You can't like the time you spend basing is just time that you're not spending generating gold income. And during this entire time, Sivir's gold has just kept going up and up and up because she's spending time on the map, and yours has stagnated a lot. And we even gave her the shutdown, right? So I think that's, like a massive, massive problem that I see consistently. I think this fight was clean, but yeah. So the two takeaways from this VOD: one, stop basing so much. Just if you're, on 700, 800, 900 gold, I'd much rather you just like hover mid for whatever amount of time if there's nothing to do. Because the way you should think about it is if you're just sitting mid, you're actually generating like potential gold income, because if you spend, say, like a minute hovering mid and then you just randomly get like a double kill, during that time, you can essentially spread out that 600 gold plus whatever else you get, like from towers and waves. So like those two kills probably comes out to, like 1k gold off that play. You can spread out that 1k gold over the 1 to 2 minutes that you spent hovering mid. So it's like an invisible gold income if you want to think about it like that. Because eventually, if you're hovering mid efficiently, and by that I mean you're pushing out sideways and then hovering mid, so you're not really losing anything in side lanes, you're gaining an invisible gold income, right? But if you're just running out of the map, farming two waves, and then resetting, you're gaining like relative to the enemy carry, you're gaining negative gold income, right? And then the other thing that you really need to try and clean up is these double queues. Like this double queue made the game so unbelievably much harder for you because like the game just got really messed up. Because, like, one thing you have to understand is that the deaths are the worst when you just come out of base, because that you're just spending so much time not on the map. What makes this death really bad is that you die right after you TP'd back mid, right? So, and then you have to reset with like 300 gold here, right? So you can't buy anything. If you died after like a massive deployment out on the map where you gained, I don't know, like 2k gold, and you're really fed and you're like, okay, and you die, but you have TP, it doesn't, like, the death matters, of course, but it doesn't matter as much. But now you've just, like, you were in base, you came out of base, and now you're back in base without ever gaining any gold income, right? And the reason behind this death was just simply your double Qs. In this what you really need to drill into your head is that in this situation, as long as you can continue hitting the Sivir, you don't need to Q again. When she gets out of Q range, that's when you Q on her. Sorry, when she gets out of auto range, that when you can no longer auto attack her, that's when you Q on her. Because the other thing that you need to, like, the other thing that's actually relevant here is when you're on this side of Sivir, Sivir doesn't want to have to run through you to escape, so she wants to run this way. But your R is already like blocking off this escape path. If she run, if Whereas if you're on this side of her with this Q, now she has a very easy escape path over here, right? So these are just things you need to consider because like these double Qs is th is costing you so much, right?